Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Bank, otherwise known as Black Auntie No Kids, and I do appreciate you clicking on the video and joining me as I do reactions, provide commentary, and just give us a place to discuss what's going on here on these YouTube streets. As usual, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel if you already haven't. Let's get started. Hey everyone. So today I went down the rabbit hole on TikTok in regards to food stamps. It's been a hot topic. As many of you know, they are due to be cut off November 1st, and it's got a lot of people talking. So here are some of the ones that stood out to me, not just because of their popularity or how controversial they seem to be, but because it showcases different points of view that we could either relate to or take issue with. Let's begin.
If there ever was a rant, this is about to be one. So if you don't want to hear a rant, just keep on going. Y'all get so mad that you cry. That's the point of that right now. So I shop at Aldi because their prices for, like, if you don't have to be a name brand bougie snob, which I am on a lot of things, I'll admit that. So I have my list planned out for what I'm meal prepping this week and all that, and I go to Aldi's and I get everything, and I'm disgusted by the cost of everything, even shopping at Aldi. Like, I didn't get that much, and it was still $135. So there's one product that I needed from the regular grocery store. So I go to the grocery store and go in and get that one thing. And this is where the rant comes in. This is going to be controversial. This is going to probably piss a lot of people off, but I don't care. It's a multi-part rant. So there's a mama in there. School's out, so she's got all of her kids with her. She is dressed nice clothes. All the kids have braids. She's got braids and everything in her hair. Buggy full of stuff. She's just fussing at them about how she's got to spend so much money on them for groceries because they're not in school. And they're kids. Well, when you take kids in a grocery store, they're gonna want snacks, Mom, So she's fussing about all that and fussing at them. And I have my one item, and I'm just standing there patiently waiting to get my one item checked out. And she's complaining and on her phone, high dollar phone, pulls out her government issued food card. And then amongst all of her complaining, she looks at the elderly lady that's checking her out, who is beyond retirement age. She should be home, kicked back, drinking coffee, watching morning shows or something. But she's at work. And the lady's like, Mama, you need to have a little bit of patience. I know it's crazy, and there, you looks like you got several of them. She said, I got a few more at home. You got a few more at home. She said, well, I'm sure you got plenty to keep you busy. She said, no, I don't work. I sit at home. I'm just waiting for all these youngins to get out of the house. I wish school was in year round. Why? So she don't work. Multiple kids. Goes out to the parking lot and gets in a fairly new SUV. I know how much vehicles cost. We're talking about like a good $85,000 to $90,000 SUV. So I'm disgusted. Like, this world is so messed up. She didn't. How? How? Like, you're not working. You've got all these kids that you produced and you are fussing at them because they're wanting snacks that you brought them in the grocery store. And then you go get in your very nice SUV and your very nice clothes with your food stamp card. I don't get it.
I'm
Okay. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. I just want to pause right here because I was making notes as I was rewatching this, and this is a made up story. That's my opinion. If you don't think that it's made up, please share in the comments why you think she's telling the truth. The number one thing that stood out to me is number one, she's hitting all of the welfare queen stereotypes that the Reagan administration stuffed down the general public's throat to the point that it became a staple of belief that the only people that receive food stamps is women like this lady that she was referencing, or if she's not the only one, this she doesn't deserve to receive them, and she's just living free, high on the hog. You notice how she said she had all of her kids, and she switched the story up as a young lady said, "No, I got more at home." And then she said the lady doesn't work. Well, that's just not how these social programs work. Yes, you can be unemployed and get food stamps, but how is this lady affording to pay for a Cadillac or for the home that the other kids are in? There has to be more to this story. And the way this lady is telling it, there is no more to the story. She's just trying to get her point across to her audience that black women with a bunch of kids are sucking up all of the welfare. And the little old lady that was ringing up the groceries behind the register is someone that deserves food stamps more than this fictional character. Now, before I forget, the thing that tipped me off, aside from the fact that she's working up her Karen, in other words, she really got into character to tell this story, is that I'm a black woman, been one all my life, over a half a century. So I kind of know how we move. And one thing we don't do, we don't just go into public spaces and start telling all of our business to white people. We don't do that. This lady is not telling all of those details and not sharing all of those details for any and everyone to hear. So the next TikTok that I will bring up, she kind of talks about that. I think she does it better than I do. Sorry, she articulates better than I do. So let's listen to what she has to say about this.
going to keep this, descriptive post short and straight to the point. The reason why white people, why y'all are disillusioned, highly disillusioned, into believing that the majority of black people are the ones who are the SNAP and EBT, recipients, when in fact that's been proven multiple times that that's not true, and that's just not in and of recent years. It's pretty much always been that way. It's just been statistics and stereotypes that the government and white people have pushed out there. Now, the reason why they do this is one thing and it's the main thing, is because white people have a greater embarrassment about using and utilizing things like that. So they will have benefits and stuff like that. And they won't even tell their own family members that they're using it. Go to the store when and places way out where nobody will know and see and think they know who I am. Late night and stuff like that. Be looking around to see if anybody watching them and things like that. Most black people don't really care. They will go in there and proudly swiping and don't care who's watching, or they post about it. Again, white people are not going to post about that because they don't want their friends and family and things looking at them in this negative aspect, even though some of their friends and family may be on it or be doing worse off than them. but it's a whole image thing, and that's what it's tied to directly. So I really need more of y'all to really grasp why I see y'all up under these posts and things making all of these racist comments when it has nothing to do with the fact that y'all don't seem to realize, and I'm not just talking about white people, and there's a lot of people don't seem to grasp that it has a trickle effect. And when you do something that harms you, that's going to affect workers, delivery, stock, everything, which is, like I said, from the top down. It's only that I don't think that they considered that at all, or thought that it was going to go another way. But however, yeah, that's it.
So, like I said, she articulates better than I do. And she hit all the points that I was addressing or attempt to address with the previous video that we watched. And she's absolutely correct. I'll never forget my niece telling a story about one of her friends when she was like in junior high, and this young girl was white, and my niece had spent the night over her house, and they went to the grocery store that evening. Well, it was late evening, and my niece got the impression, first of all, she was kind of shocked that they were receiving food stamps, but she picked up on the reason why they went to the store so late was because the mother was embarrassed that she was using food stamps. So I kind of want to harken back to the first video. This lady would be someone who possibly could, at some point in her life, um, qualify for food stamps. And if she was to get them, she would be that one, I think, that would probably creep out late at night or look for an empty register or try to hide her card as she's using it, because there is a stigma and shame. And the only little thing that I will say is that I wouldn't necessarily say that we're proud to have food stamps. I just want to reiterate and make it clear, uh, in this context, just like the lady in the last video, the black lady. I'm sorry, her name escapes me. But we're not embarrassed to use something that is a safety net that we qualify for. At least most of us aren't. And I'm pretty sure there are some who has issue with using food stamps. But for the most part, we are making videos about it. You see food stamp haul videos all the time. But if you go on to TikTok, you'll see that plenty of white people use food stamps, but we're still the face of it. So this next video, I really kind of found interesting because this young lady is talking about her foray into applying for food stamps and how that went.
Normally, this would just go on my private Snapchat story because it's just a rant. But I don't know why this feels more like important and it should go on TikTok, even though it does not matter. It's a me problem. Okay, so for some context, I'm a graduate assistant. That means that I'm a strength and conditioning coach, and I work for the college that I work for the athletic department. They pay for all my tuition for my master's, and then they give me a stipend. Okay, I'm just gonna say how much money I make because I don't give a fuck. I make 10 grand a year. That is how much money I make. And that's spread out over the 10 months that I work a year, and then the 2 months a year that I don't work. Like, I don't get a paycheck those months. So that ends up after taxes being about $950 a month. My rent is $570 a month. So that's most of my paycheck gone. Then that doesn't include electric or Wi-Fi. That ends up being about another 40 each because me and my roommate split it. So that's another 80 a month plus groceries. Okay. Doing the math, what is that? 570, 650. 650 is like my living costs. Plus, I spend about $100, $150 a week on groceries. I eat a lot of fucking food. So if you do the math, I'm in the red every single week, okay? I applied for food stamps in my state because if that isn't low income, I don't know what low income is. Like, I'm not supporting children. I have it better than a lot of people have it. But, like, that's fucking low income, okay? I spent like 3 weeks sending in different applications, different forms to document all my work. They're asking for all this shit. I'm on the phone with them. I'm submitting all this stuff. Today I get a message back that says you have a new like notification about your benefits. Guess how much money the Wisconsin state government is giving me a month for groceries? $24 a month. $24 a month, and I'm in the red every week. Every single week. Like, I don't understand. And like, I'm an American citizen. I've been working since I was 16 paying taxes. Like, I work 50 plus hours a week. I don't go out. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't use nicotine. I don't use caffeine. So I don't have like an addiction that I'm funding in any way. I'm just trying to like exist. And $24 a month? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm gonna go to the office and be like, what? Are you joking? Like, don't give me any money at that point. Just say I don't qualify. But like, if I'm only getting $24 a month, like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry. I had to expel it from my body or I was gonna explode. But are you fucking kidding me? $24 a month. And I make 10 grand a year working 50 hours a week.
White people.
Okay, I found that one very interesting. But to answer her question, no, they're not kidding you. I don't know what Wisconsin's base is for uh, single person homes with no dependents, and honestly, I don't know what the state I'm in what it is currently. I used to work as I was called an income maintenance worker, so I basically determined benefits for food stamps, cash, Medicaid, daycare, things of that nature. I know that each state has guidelines based off of the number of people in your home. So that is what the missing part for her. She's not getting that even if she made $0 per year, there's only so much that she would get. I do believe when I was doing benefits, I think for one person it was like $115. I'm pretty sure it's more than that now. But whatever that standard is, that's the cap. That's what she was going to qualify for. So once they added in her income, and they do take into consideration assets, bank accounts, uh, other things, it's a formula. So the formula said that she is only eligible for $24. It doesn't care how long you worked and paid into the system. So this goes into privilege. And this is a privilege that, it's not just a white privilege. I think it's the working privilege, but it seems to come out more when it comes to food stamps. This privilege rears its ugly head. And it just assumes that these safety nets are only for worthy people who have already paid into the system. Never mind the fact that the biggest recipients of welfare, if you want to call it that, are farmers, okay? That's the truth. But she's on here ranting that she's only eligible to get $24 in food stamps. Well, my suggestion to her is to get a gig. You know, DoorDash, Uber, Instacart, whatever gig is out there. She'll definitely make more than $24 a month doing that. She can easily make $24 in a day after doing it for a couple of hours. But she had to get that out, and she had to kind of reinforce her beliefs. I'm assuming it's her belief that people are just grifting and living high on the hog with food stamps. So this next young lady, and this is an older video, but it's funny how these videos, even though they're older, they're still relevant today. I remember when I cherry picked this particular video, I looked at the date of the upload, and it was in 2020. But what she has to say kind of addresses what the other young lady was talking about.
Listen up. You're not white, you can listen to. I'm specifically speaking to the Caucasians, though. I used to be a caseworker in a food stamp, TANF, and Medicaid office, and it was the best job I ever had, but white people made it terrible. Well, maybe if I was a different color, I would get more food stamps. Stop. Just stop. The color of your skin does not determine your eligibility, Karen. I don't care if you say that another caseworker told you that it mattered. Number one, I don't believe you. And number two, even if they did tell you that, it's a lie. But my question for you is it your caucasity that makes you feel like you should somehow be entitled to more or better service? Are you bothered by the fact that you're getting treated just like everybody else for the first time in your life? Also, Caucasians get more food stamps than any other ethnic group, and non-citizens have never gotten food stamps.
Okay.
Like I said, just like in the previous batch of videos I did, she says it better than me. I'm working on my articulation. You guys work with me. But the point is, and that was the implication, is that somehow we have a magical line into food stamps. That implication is that if it was a black woman or a black person only making 10,000 a year, somehow we would get more food stamps than they do. We actually have like some kind of, like I said, we have a magical line. I guess black people are magical, so maybe that's what it is. So this next video that I'm going to show, in the video after, I'm going to just let it play through, so it'll kind of mesh up, and but I do want to point out that um you're going to hear this story more than once from different content creator, which tipped me off immediately when my timeline started showing this same story being rotated. And this video is seven kids by the age of 20 and seven different men getting 3K in food stamps. We know that people are seeking attention on these social media apps, in particular TikTok. They are looking to go viral. And once a trend starts, people just pile onto it. And rage bait is what it's become. And this is a good example of rage bait. And then you're going to see a woman's response to the rage bait. I'm not sure at that moment that she knew that there was all rage bait, but she does make some points that I think some of our young people or content creators need to be aware of, especially when you're talking about Black issues in particular, things like welfare or any kind of social services that show us in a negative light. How you feed into it is what the majority community take as fact. They take and warp it. And then we're back to the first video I showed here with the lady making up a story in Aldi's about the welfare queen.
We listen, but we don't judge. Yes, I had my first child at 13. I got pregnant at 13. Then I had another one at 15. Then popped another one at 16. Then 17. Then 18. 19, and so on. Yes, I have 7 kids. I'm not ashamed of it, from 7 different men. And I'm currently pregnant right now with my 8th child. And that's by my food stamp plug that helps me get $3,000 a month in food and groceries. So yes, I mean, I was young, but I don't care. I don't care. I love 7 kids, and I'm gonna continue to have more and more and more. Might end up with 15 next year. Who knows? But like I said, yeah, it's me. It is me, your food stamp queen, EBT queen, 3K a month. If you want some stamps, let us put you in a game. Simple as that. 7 kids, 7 baby daddies.
Sisters and brothers, nieces and nephews, we've got to talk about this right here. Hold on a minute.
Different baby daddies. Yeah, 7 different baby daddies. I heard it. You heard it right here. 7 different baby daddies, 7 kids. Had my first child at age 14.
Yes, and I do receive 3K, 3,000 in EBT food stamps. Yes, 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 yes. We are so happy. We are so blessed. We are very thankful. Yes, we are happy where we're at in life right now. We are happy. Yes, we are.
Okay, there you have it. Now, I went to her page, and understandably, it is about making coinage because if she is monetized, I know, and if her stuff comes across her for you, she get over 1,000 views, she'll get paid. Okay, and it's not even about her having her first child 14. That's bad enough, but it happened. My mom had me at 17, so that means she got pregnant at 16. But what is abhorrent is that you are perpetuating the stereotype that women like the German lady can speak on. Now, when I was raising my daughter initially, was I on food stamps and WIC? I absolutely was. I absolutely was. And I used those benefits until I graduated and got my commission and went on active duty and didn't need them anymore. So they're there for a reason. But when you have individuals like her who sit on these internets and tout how she gets 3K in food stamps, touts how she has 7 children by not only 7 children, but boys by 7 different men. And her oldest, so I have to do the math, because she said she had a child at 14, so, and the child is 19. So that makes her 33. And to see her dancing around with her 19-year-old boy, young man, so it's self-fulfilling prophecy is what this is. Ladies, we make poor decisions. We make poor choices. I was no different. When I conceived my daughter, it was a poor choice in how she was conceived. But the idea is to learn from the decisions that you make. And what I learned from that is that I was not going to have another child out of wedlock. When I got pregnant with my daughter, I was on birth control pills, but I wasn't taking them as I should. Right? Okay? So I got pregnant. I was irresponsible. After I had her and I decided I did not want to have another child out of wedlock, guess what? I never missed a day of birth control pills, and guess what? Never got pregnant again. So for you, young woman, to purposely lay down and not take responsibility for your body and continue to have child after child after child, and you sit here and talk about how blessed you are because you get public assistance. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. And not only that, it will be different if you got the public assistance and we could see how you are trying to be the best example of a mother to your children. But no. You on here doing TikTok videos to songs, cussing and everything in front of your minor children. Mm-hmm. You on these internets looking like who done it and why. You on these internets with your oldest son, y'all, as if you are, what shall I say, bragging The money that you got and the receipt you got off of somebody else's tax dollars. I'm disgusted. Now, interestingly enough, I noticed that you said you have 7 children, but you only show 5. Is it because the other 2 are not in your care? I don't know. I just made an observation. But it goes back to the conversation I just had earlier. People could not do these kinds of videos about us if we were making these kind of videos ourselves to be fodder, as meaning food for them to use. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Take that with you.
And with that, I think this sums up the question or the video very well because I plan on titling this video, When Will Black Women Stop Being the Face of Welfare? And this last lady, I believe her name is TJ. I used to look at her, or rather, I used to follow her on YouTube. I see that she's moved over to TikTok and she's doing very well over there. But she brings up some very good points into this discussion and kind of brings it full circle from the beginning of this video. When when will this happen? Well, we can be or we can play a part in this as a whole. Mind you, clicks and views rule the day. It doesn't matter what we say, and especially once you hit a certain age group, the young people are really not trying to listen to what you have to say. But I think she made some excellent points. And also, I believe that some other people in this video made some good points. I wanted to kind of show some contrast and some, difference of opinions, but things that kind of make us think about this whole issue on a broader spectrum. I know the seriousness of food insecurity. I'm really hoping that this does not drag out that long. I read somewhere that due to how Congress is handling the shutdown, the earliest that they can reopen is November 3rd. I know that not everyone gets their food stamps on the 1st, but I'm also hearing in some states that if you don't spend up all the food stamps you have for this month, they don't roll over into the next month. So there's a lot that's going to happen within the next couple of days, and we just have to see how it pans out. But the one thing that grinds my gears is that the people who seem to not care, seem to be insensitive about this issue, is only putting a black face to it when we know that the larger community itself is going to suffer. And even people like me and you who may not receive food stamps, if this drags out, it is going to impact us because it may impact our neighbors, it may impact our coworkers, it may impact some of our family members, it may drive up the cost of food. There may be, I know some people are saying there may be a spike in crime. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what this administration is planning to do moving forward. It seems like they are flying by the seat of their pants and they don't really care what we think. They have a goal in mind, and that is to disrupt us, to make us uncomfortable, and to make us unsettled so they can further their agenda. So keep that in mind. So with that out of the way, I'm going to end this video. And again, thank you for your time. I'm working on my presentation, I'm working on my articulation, and I'm working to make sure that I present videos to you, if not on a daily basis, at least a weekly basis. I'm trying not to disappear from this site as long as I just did. So, with that being said, everybody have a blessed day, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.